All right. So, hello and welcome to this webinar from Stena Circular Consulting on the topic of designing for repair, where we, amongst other things, will take part of the insights of the work of Electrolux Professional. My name is Stina Lexe, but we will make proper introduction in just a moment. First, I will briefly tell you a little bit about Stena Circular Consulting. So you can use the QR code you see here on the screen to access our webpage to learn a little bit more about us. But in short, we are a group of expert consultants that help organizations turn circular economy into real business opportunities. So we are part of Stena Recycling Group, and you can see our business offerings here on the screen. We have 4 areas of circular product design, zero waste, circular business system design, and strategy compliance. But moving on to the proper introductions. So as I said, my name is Stina Lexe, and I work as an analyst at Stena Circular Consulting, where I get the chance to work with companies among different sectors and learn about their unique challenges and ambitions. And with me, I have my colleague Liv.
Yes, I'm Liv, and I'm a project lead at Stena Circular Consulting, and my background is in industrial design with a steady focus on how to minimize the environmental impact from products already on the drawing table. I'd like to welcome Lydia from Electrolux Professional. Thank you for joining us today, Lydia. We're excited to have such an experienced company in the field of repair with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Hi, my name is Lydia. I'm Product Compliance and Sustainability Manager in Electrolux Professional in R&D department. In my role, I oversee product certification processes, assuring compliance with a broad spectrum of regulatory requirements, from safety standard to energy performance and eco-design directives.
Perfect. Well, welcome. So, moving on to the agenda. And this is what the agenda of today looks like. So first, we will talk about why repair matters and address some climate and legal aspects. Second, we will briefly discuss the business benefits of repair. And then Liv, you will take over and tell us a little bit on how to get started with repair and address design implications and also business model and system aspects. And after that, Lydia will talk about Electrolux Professional and your experiences of working with the repair. And lastly, we have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you please feel free to post them here in the chat along the webinar, and we will try to answer them in the end. So first things first, let's get started. Why does repair matter? Well, in a linear economy, the GDP growth and resource extraction are directly linked, leaving waste generation as an inevitable side effect. So it's a take, make, dispose model. And the more we grow, the more we extract, and the more we dispose of resources. And it's essential that we break free from this connection. Also, looking at the CO2 emissions, we can see that about 55% are connected to energy consumptions of the day. That means heating, for example. And 45% of emissions are connected to materials. But the scale here is also shifting. So using green energy only will just take us this far. We also need to look at materials and products to reach net zero emissions. But how do we do that in an efficient way? Well, we can make use of the principles of circular economy, as it is, unlike the linear traditional economy, it's restorative and it's regenerative by design and enable us to decouple economic value creation from resource extraction. And in a circular economy, waste is minimized and resources are preserved at the highest value through different loops. And this image you see here is our Design for Circularity framework, and it's based on the Ellen MacArthur Foundation butterfly diagram. And circular economy is considered to be the only current framework that actually guides businesses to become truly sustainable. And we can often see that the narrower the loop, the more economic potential and environmental impact is available. So our focus is on the technical cycle of the diagram, and today we are especially addressing repair, as you know. And here we have a lot of untapped value. But as you know, repair refers to restoring a broken product so it can be used again instead of discarded. And repairing products and providing maintenance is by no means a new feature of businesses. It is an important part of many companies' business offerings already today. But what is new is that we can see that this concept of repair has become much more important in legislation, especially EU legislation in recent years. So this is what we will look a little bit more into now. So the EU is moving from voluntary standards towards mandatory rules, ensuring that more products must be repairable, sustainable, and last longer. So repair has moved from being a nice to have to a central pillar of product legislation, reflecting consumer demand and sustainability goal as well as circular economy strategy. So here is a selection of policies promoting repair, and we will dive a little bit deeper into the GSPR regulation, the Eco Design and Energy Labeling regulation, and also a bit in the durability index in France just in a while. But we also like to mention the EU standard EN 45554. This is a voluntary EU standard that provides methods to assess upgradability and also repairability and reusability of energy-related products. So it's not mandatory, but since 2022, it has been used to guide policy and product design. Also, we have the Right to Repair Directive. It was adopted in 2024, and this directive makes repair policies mandatory for common household items to extend product lifetime. And it takes full effect in July 2026. But as I said, we are now going to dive a little bit deeper into these three legislations here on the next slides. And these are particularly interesting as they exemplify how policy can systemically influence both consumer behavior and product design to promote sustainability. Right, so first, the Eco Design for Sustainable Product Regulation, ESPR, will set binding EU-wide rules that all products sold in the EU must be durable, repairable, and recyclable. And a key innovation here is the digital product passport, which will track materials and components, but also repair information, which helps consumers and service providers to access clear guidance for maintenance and for repair. And for manufacturers, this means that you need to design products with modular, durable components, and they should also be repairable materials, of course. And you also need to provide digital repair manuals and spare part information, as well as maintenance history. So only products that meet these different criteria can be sold. And you see a list here to the right, some of the target products and product categories. And they will ensure that environmental impact is minimized and that the EU moves towards a circular economy. And as you can see, this is a work in progress. So first requirements are shortly introduced, but the full rollout will be assumed in 2030 and beyond. Right. Next, we have the Eco Design Energy Labeling Regulation, which are development of existing policies and a practical implementation tool for the broader ESPR framework. So the Eco Design and Energy Labeling Regulation can help consumers to choose energy efficient, durable, and also repairable products, while encouraging manufacturers to innovate for sustainability. So the energy label is not new, I'm sure you recognize it, but it's updated. So unlike the old energy label, which was focused mainly on energy efficiency, this updated label adds durability and repairability as core criteria. So a key feature here of the new energy label is the repairability score, where you have a grade from A to E. And it evaluates the ease of disassembly, spare part availability, repair manuals, battery longevity, and also software support. So as of June 2025, this year, this new eco-design and energy label rules applies to smartphones and tablets. And the EU is also considering to expanding this to other product categories under the ESPR. Right, and lastly, we also have the durability index in France. And these regulations will actually be phased out as the new ESPR regulations are introduced. However, the ESPR, as you saw in the previous picture, will not be fully rolled out until after 2030. So this is still interesting to look at. And in France, consumer electronic products must display a durability index from 0 to 10, which helps consumers to choose products that are easier to repair. And the regulation started with electronics and household appliances and gradually covers more products, as you see here on to the right. And the index evaluates products not only on repairability, but also on reliability and upgradability. Yes, and together these three regulations they show how policy can influence both consumer behavior and product design to promote sustainability. And that's what we wanted to address regarding the legislation in favor of repair. So now let's move on to the business benefits of repair. The next slide. Yes, and we know that repairing products it brings significant business advantages both economically and environmentally. So let's look at some examples. Right. As I said, repair brings several key benefits for companies. So first of all, it opens up new revenue streams through spare part sales, repair services and subscriptions, of course. It can also reduce dependencies on suppliers by extending product lifetimes and stabilizing supply chains and also lowering exposure to material cost or scarcities. Repairs also cuts replacement costs and it improves efficiency and help businesses to stand out with their unique and sustainable offerings. And it also boosts customers' satisfaction too, because people trust and they stay loyal to brands of the products that last longer. And finally, repair can also capture more value while reducing waste, conserve resources, and cut emissions. So compared with recycling, we have this example to the right here from studies of smartphones. And you can see that there's a considerable difference where repair preserves the product's highest value and utility, offering both economic and environmental benefits. Right, so now you know a little bit more about why repair matters, and I will now hand over to my colleague Liv, who will talk a little bit about how to get started with repair and also some design implications. So go ahead, Liv.
Thank you, Stena. Thanks a lot. So it's essential to have repairability in mind from the beginning when designing a product to create the best conditions for repair. But how do you get started? It's not always straightforward. Let's talk about some key trade-offs in making products repairable. First, repairability versus cost. Making a product easy to fix often means better materials or modular design, which could be more expensive. So we need to balance repairability with keeping the product affordable. Second, repairability versus recyclability. A product with reversible fasteners, such as screws, makes it easy to repair. But sometimes those screws makes the joint materials harder to separate and recycle efficiently in a fragmentation process. So it's about setting the end-of-use strategy for the product. Third, repairability versus technical features. Think about a waterproof phone or device. Sealing for water resistance makes the product harder to open. So we need smart solutions to keep repairs possible without compromising performance. Fourth, repairability versus IP and brand control. Sharing repair guides or parts can empower consumers, but we also need to protect our intellectual property and ensure repairs don't harm our brand. Finally, spare parts availability versus inventory burden. Having lots of spares makes repair easier, but it also means more storage, more logistics, and cost. The key is to balance availability with efficiency. In short, designing for repair is a juggling act, but when done right, it creates product that lasts longer, satisfies customers, and supports sustainable business models. To evaluate a product's circularity, and in this case repairability, Stena Circular Consulting uses standards and a hands-on approach. So we start out with a system mapping to understand how the product is handled and what happens at end of use. Then we do a product disassembly. Our assessments are both qualitative and quantitative. So for the qualitative part, we look at how design, business models, and the surrounding system support repair. For example, are there any incentives for repair? Is there an access to repair service? And we gather those insights through interviews with R&D, service teams, and aftermarket departments. Then the quantitative part, there we calculate the repairability score by disassembling the product step by step, noting tools, time, and accessibility to key parts. And now I'd like to share some learning from these assessments. Perhaps it's evident, but it is important to understand your product's cause of failure to be able to fix it, right? You need to identify the parts that are critical to the product's function and gather data on component failure rates. The key is to connect customer feedback and knowledge from the aftermarket department and service centers with the design development. So all that great information from what happens at end of use should reach the design team and the development team. The lifetime of components can vary a lot within products. So you can have the strategy to prolong the life of the most short-lived components to balance the lifespans within the product. Often the product structure can be improved to enhance accessibility of components of the highest failure rate, which brings me to the next learning. Assess the accessibility to critical parts. So how deep are they nested in the product and how many steps are needed to reach those failing components? How many different tools are needed? Can accessibility to critical parts be improved for a cost-efficient repair? You can see the disassembly tree here to the right. It shows the order of disassembly for an example product. And by drawing it, you understand the disassembly order and the time it takes and the effort it takes to reach critical parts and how you then could redesign for easier access to those components. And there are some strategies seen to the right. If we imagine the red part being a failured component, you could either move it up in the architecture. You could group components so the steps becomes fewer for reaching that failured part. Or you could simply simplify the design. All right, so you can design the perfect product for repairability, but if you don't have the incentives, it's not going to be repaired. So trigger incentives for repair is crucial. It's important to, for example, find the right pricing strategy for spare parts sale and service, because people compare original price with repair costs. Consumers are willing to pay up to about 30% for the repair compared to the replacement price of household appliances. So the essential barrier affecting the number of repaired products is the low cost for a new. So to offer a fixed price where both spares and technician time is included could lower the barrier for repair when there's no surprise costs popping up. It is also important to define the systemic challenges and opportunities along the repair service through surveys, interviews with repair operators, for example. To measure the accessibility to repair service, the time to service, and the geographic reach. Are spare parts available on short notice and over time? And are repair instructions available and easy to understand? Now it's time for me to hand over to Lydia, who sits on a lot of real life knowledge on the topic. Electrolux Professional have repair in their DNA. And
Thanks.
we have conducted a few design for circularity assessments and seen that your products are well adapted for repair. So welcome up on stage, Lydia.
Thanks. Thank you, Liv, again for the introduction. First of all, I'd like to give you a brief overview of Electrolux Professional, what we do and how we bring value. Electrolux Professional Group is the sustainability in our industry and one of the leading global providers of food service, beverage, and laundry for professional users. We keep on being the sustainability leader by focusing on meeting needs beyond tomorrow. That is our vision. Our solution and products are manufactured in 14 plants, 8 countries, and sold in over 110 countries. In 2024, Electrolux Professional Group had a global sales of 12.5 billion SEK and about 4,300 employees, and this is listed in Nasdaq Stockholm. Next, please. Electrolux Professional Group is one of the leading global players in terms of sales, with a complete offering for both food and beverage sector and the global laundry equipment market. Our offer includes management of entire value chain, from project planning and design to production, installation, customer care and service. Our products are mainly sold to a global network of dealers and distributors, but sometimes also directly to end customer. To meet our market needs, we use a portfolio of different brands, with Electrolux Professional as our master brand, targeting different customers and stakeholders in different geographies. Our end customer base consists of large multinational, regional chain and independent restaurant, catering providers, leisure and accommodation facilities, healthcare facilities, customer-operated laundries, school and university, as well as small businesses and large industrial customers. With our master brand, we provide a global product and service with integrated solution and services allowing customers to manage their operation through connectivity and a single digital ecosystem. The company operates in a market characterized by the heavy use of machines, which require us to have a reliable and geographically well-distributed customer care service. The service is crucial for our customer uptime, an integral part of our full solution delivery, and at the same time, one of the most profitable parts of our business. Our global sales and service network provides 10,000 technicians through a service partner setup with a reliable and well-distributed service. Supporting our customers throughout the life cycle of the product is an important relationship with our customer. Focusing on connected solution, together with our customer digital platform, we offer a digital journey for our customer. Customer digital platform is our cloud-based self-service portal for our distributors and partners. The platform provides easy ordering of product and spare parts, tracking feature for order and delivery, invoice statement, support handling, and review of the user's operation data from their connected machines. Connected solution is a system that our customer can use to monitor and steer their connected product, thereby maximizing uptime, improving service, and reducing the consumption of energy, water, and consumables. Customers are offered better insight into their equipment, and we can create an ongoing relationship with customers throughout their equipment life cycle, thereby supporting them in their needs for repurchases and additional service. The group digital strategy holds target to increase the installed base of connected machines and increase of online sales and digital interaction with our customer. A practical example of our commitment to circular economy principle dates back to about 4 years ago, when the company decided to revisit the architecture of our under-counter dishwasher. On that occasion, we engaged Stena to conduct a detailed analysis of the product from a circular economy perspective. This comprehensive study explores several dimensions, including design for repair. We had the opportunity to assess each component of the dishwasher individually, examining design choices such as material selection, component accessibility, and modularity. The evaluation also extended to the business model and servitization process. Next. The preliminary assessment was done on the reference product in production at that time, considering that primarily is used in bar, pubs, café, and small restaurants. This type of product typically has its greatest environmental impact during the extraction and production phases, as well as during use due to significant energy and water consumption. Thanks to this in-depth analysis, we realize how advanced our product already was in terms of circular economy principles. By focusing on a few key aspects, we saw the potential to offer our customer a truly innovative and sustainable solution. Here we are looking at the concept of modularity, a key principle in the sustainable design of our products. The idea is simple. Instead of building products as solid blocks, we design them as a set of functional modules, each one easily detachable and responsible for a specific function. It means designing with a clear separation between components, grouping those with similar life cycles or failure rates. This approach makes maintenance, repair, and even product upgrades much easier over time. A concrete example is the modular dishwasher. Each group of parts corresponds to a specific function, which simplifies technical intervention and reduces waste. What should we avoid? We should avoid combining components with different lifespan or maintenance intervals. Doing so risks making the entire product obsolete due to a single part that can no longer be replaced. And now let's talk about standardization, an essential aspect of designing products that are easy to repair and built to last. The goal here is clear. We want to minimize the use of customized components and instead rely on standard reusable parts that can be shared across product generation within the same category. So, how do we measure this? We look at few key indicators. The number of components that require proprietary tool to be unscrewed, the number of customized tools needed overall. Ideally, we aim to develop a modular product with usable joining method and standardized connection. This not only simplifies maintenance, but also enable future upgrade and innovation. On the right side of the slide, you can see a visual example, a piece of equipment with highlighted areas showing where standard screws are used. This illustrates how thoughtful design can make disassembly and reassembly much easier. In short, standardization is about designing with the future in mind, less waste, more efficiency, and greater adaptability to evolving technologies and regulation. Now let's take a look at spare part evaluation, an essential aspect when it comes to product longevity and customer satisfaction. We assess these through several key indicators. For example, the cost of spare parts, delivery condition, including lead time and order lot size, the number of distributors ready to supply the parts. Spare parts are available through our online portals, and selling them is part of our business model. Importantly, parts are accessible on short notice and remain available for up to 10 years after the last sale of a product model. Minimum order quantity is typically one piece, especially when multiple parts are needed at once. There's also a strategic opportunity here, exploring leasing or product as a service model. This can naturally lead to longer product lifetime, reduced need for spare parts, easier repair process, and lastly, higher profitability and customer satisfaction. As shown in the image, users can easily find and contact the nearest partner through our website, reinforcing accessibility and support. And finally, this is the result of how innovation and sustainability come together in our product development. The Neo Blue Touch Under-Counter Dishwasher, launched in 2024, has earned the Platinum rating from Third Body Repairability Rating Program, a recognition awarded only to products scoring between 8 and 9 on a 10-point scale. This rating reflects our commitment to designing products that are easy to repair. The Neo Blue dishwasher is a perfect example of this approach. It's designed to extend product life, reduce waste, and save energy and water, making it ideal for cafe, bakery, and small hotel. We also guarantee spare parts availability for at least 10 years and offer dedicated diagnostic support through the One Connected app, which simplifies troubleshooting and maintenance. Key features that support product lifecycle extension include easy maintenance for service technicians, app-based diagnostic and repair procedure, clear service manual and training resources. This is how we turn sustainability into a tangible benefit for our customer and lead the way in responsible innovation.
Thanks a lot, Lydia. Super interesting. Before we let people in from the chat, or we pick questions from the chat, I will take the chance to pose a couple of questions for you. So first off, what are the challenges and opportunities with designing for repair?
Of course, depends where you are, because challenges can be a lot. Product complexity is an example. Product often integrate electronics, functional components, several features, compact design, and that hinder disassembly and repair. Cost is a challenge because designing for repair may increase initial production cost. Supply chain limitation, because I described how much is important the availability of spare parts and update repair documentation, for example. It's a matter to be organized in the company. Opportunities are same a lot. For us, opportunity is customer loyalty. Offering repairable product build a longer lasting and trust-based relationship with the customer. The customer perceive that the brand is responsible and attentive to their needs. And of course, design innovation is an opportunity because repairability encourages innovative solutions such as modularity, circular materials, technical accessibility.
Cool. Yes, I like it when it drives innovation in that sense. And this webinar is called From Compliance to Competitive Advantage. So in your view, how does repair compliance translate to an advantage for you?
In my view, repair compliance become a strategic asset when approached to three key dimensions. The first is methodology. Methodology embedding repairability into design processes creates a structured cross-functional approach that improve product quality and assure alignment with evolving regulation. Second is transparency, providing clear repair information like manual, like spare parts, but also like certification, build trust with customer and stakeholder, reinforcing the brand credibility. And last but not the least, competitiveness. Meeting repairability criteria strengthens positioning in public and private tenders where sustainability and product longevity are increasingly rewarded.
Thank you. I think we can have a look in the chat now, Stina. Have you seen any questions?
Yes, I can see what we have a question here, and it's a question for Electrolux Professionals. Is Electrolux Professional exploring the opportunities offered by pay-per-use business models? And if so, what sort of activities or experiments are you doing to help your learning?
Mainly this kind of opportunity as experience in the laundry area, where there is a big heritage in terms of availability of appliances in self-service area. And it's really a matter of culture of the market. But of course, this is a great opportunity, and this approach, design for repair, is supporting this kind of approach.
I think we just got another question as well. Or do you have a comment for that, Liv, or anything? Otherwise,
no. But as I know, you have tested product as a service. But is it rolling, or is it still in a test level? Would you say?
Of course, in laundry is rolling. In food, the situation is a little bit different because mainly products are part of the business model of our customers, so it is different kind of approach.
Yes, a few more questions. Another question for Electrolux Professional. When adjusting to a design for repair, have you seen an increase in production line delivery when it comes to quality? Like a higher first pass yield in production line testing or lower scrap rates?
Of course, when we design for repair, we have improving in terms of standardization also in the production line. So the tools are optimized, and easy to repair is also easy to manufacture, because improve the standardization of the product. Consider that we have different product line, and our heritage was to have different kind of tradition for each kind of product, and now more and more we are going in the direction to standardize also cross category in terms of design for repair, but also robust design that in general is durability approach. Standardization support the durability approach and production, of course.
Right. Anything you like to add, Liv, on your part?
No, I mean, I have a background in design, so I'm always interested in how that works. And so how would you like ensure product innovation while standardizing over product generations? So how do you do that?
We balance innovation and standardization through speed, because standard platform and components accelerate development cycles, allowing faster time to market while maintaining consistency across generation. We innovate by function, we focus on innovating where it matters, enhancing specific product function that respond to evolving technical and user needs without reinventing the entire system. And another point is innovation by need. Listening to customer feedback and market trend help us identify real needs, and this drives targeted innovation. And you can manage this approach when you have a modular product that can be modified, focusing only where the customer asks to improve.
Okay.
That sounds clever.
Yes, and on that note of customer feedback, we have a question here from Sam. How is Electrolux Professional quantifying feedback from customer as validating the design for repairability as a unique value proposition of the brand? So how are you quantifying the feedback from customers?
We have internal tools to manage the quality and the consistency of our product. As I mentioned before, we have a network of service partner quite wide, and this kind of network is supporting our strategy in terms of internal knowledge. Because in our industry it's really important to have dedicated people for managing the installation and service of our product. It's not up to the customer to manage this. So this kind of approach is supporting us to better define the strategy.
I see. I think we might have time for one more question here before we wrap these things up. And we have a question here from Christina, and she wonders how did you get the entire organization on board with the design for repair, from leadership to product team to after sale? And how did you ensure to see this as a strategic priority?
Yes, as I said at the beginning, this approach is really part of our DNA. So I can say that the most of the job was done since years, thanks to the strategy of the company that asked to apply the principle. The leadership job was to connect all the competencies and let me say connect the dots and make available and evident this knowledge already present in the company.
Yeah, really interesting. All right, I think our time is up, actually. I see that we have much more questions in the chat. We will do our best to answer this after the webinar, but now it's time to round up this session. And also this recording will be available on our webpage in a near future. So a big thank you to Lydia, and a thank you to every one of you who has been listening today. And don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Liv if you want any more information or have any more questions. But we thank you for today. So goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.